We'll see if it comes in. Hello. Hello. This is going to be video 6670, which I just made video 669 talking about the some of the changes in healthcare legislation that came out through the Trump administration, but that's in the previous video. So let's move on and talk about something else. Uh, I've rejoined a support group because I'm not in a support group. And I'm not getting therapy right now because I'm waiting on my health insurance card to come. So I rejoined a health support group. And I left the support group probably about a year ago because the support group was totally focused on first year transition stuff. And I found that it was as probably as needed. There's a lot of stuff that happens to you before your first year, leading up to your first year and your second year. There's a lot of ifs, ands, whys, hows. How do I do this? How do I change my name legally? How do I find a good surgeon? How do I find where do I go to get in my letters? Da da da. All that. There's needs to be done. Needs to be done. But and I'm going to push for it again. There needs to be a part two. There needs to be for lack of a better word, not an adults group, and not a post-ops group. Although that would be a good shift. I'm going to say post-op. There needs to be a post-ops group that deals with life after being a post-op and what it is to be transgender, 4 years, 6 years after you transition. Because we have needs too. We have needs too that just doesn't get addressed. And as essential and as important as the first 2 years are, it gets to be very repetitive. The problems stay the same, but the people change. People come in, they need help. They need help. They need help. It's necessary. And after they need help, they go away, right? Usually, they go stealth. And so, in my case, they come back because they need help. This is a lifelong process, right? So anyway, so I rejoined this group, and I was quickly reminded of why I left the first time. And I don't necessarily want to do a laundry list of first-time transition problems that need to be addressed. But one thing stuck out. I'm trying to think of how I want to say this without me sounding like a total bitch. Why do we? The answer is so obvious. But let me rewind that. Give me a mulligan on that. You're in your transgender support group. And you see someone who's transitioning. They're undergoing transition. They're in their first 5 months of transition. Or they're coming up on their first year transition, first transition anniversary. What do you say to them? Do you say, "You're looking beautiful. You're looking so good. You're wonderful. You're beautiful." And it's needed because during the first few years of our transition, and definitely leading up to transition, we wonder about, will I pass? what type of woman will I look like? And I apologize to all the trans men out there because this is totally going to be a trans woman based video. Um, I'm sorry, but we say to the other trans women, "Oh, you're looking so good. You look so beautiful. That's cute on you," which is necessary. I get it. It confirms maybe what they're doing, what we do. I'll put myself there. It confirms what I have done. It confirms what we do. It alleviates those doubts a little bit. You know, you look beautiful. You look wonderful. It does a little bit of ego stroking too, for someone who maybe has had years and years and years of doubt. But it also, and this is, I can see it now. You're gonna unsubscribe. You're gonna say she's a bitch. She's an ugly one. Uh, um, but while we're doing that necessary step, it's necessary. I get it. We are also reasserting and confirming a stereotype of society that women are only as worthy as they are beautiful. We are affirming that women can and should be judged solely by their appearance. And you can say, well, that's bullshit, Robin. I get you. I'm with you. But in the chat and on Facebook, the comments that I saw, it was totally about appearance. You're looking, and I've done it. I'm guilty of it. Please, I'm guilty. I have to. This is a me thing. I'm done, and I've noticed it in other people. We say, "Oh, you're so beautiful. You're so pretty." We're reaffirming the stereotypes, and again, we're helping people get over a hump. Maybe they're doubting themselves. The hormones aren't working fast enough. I'm not looking the way I want to look. Guilty, done it, been there. But I almost think we're setting them up for failure because they will never be, they'll always doubt themselves, but then again, that's something we deal with too, don't we? We have to say, look, you're beautiful. You're looking at yourself through your own eyes. If you could see yourself through my eyes, you would see a very beautiful woman. You would see a young lady who's in the process of finding out who she is, who your authentic self is. But being a trans woman is so much more than beauty in the outward appearance. But I understand the need to deconstruct the masculine sense of self physically and realign it, to a feminine point of view. But in this case, the woman was so focused on her looks, and turns out she's 47 years old, and I I encouraged her to. In other words, I asked her if it was okay for me to comment. I said, "May I offer you a piece of advice?" And she said yes. And I said, "Do yourself a favor, get yourself a calendar, and circle where you are." She just started hormones last week. I said, and circle 7 months in the future from that date. Do yourself a favor. And whenever you feel like you're not looking as good as you want to look or as you want to look, you're doubting yourself, you're doubting the process. I said physically from your outward appearance. You know, you really need to give yourself time to change. And circle that 7th month anniversary, because at that 7th month, that is when you're really going to see enough of a change to recognize that it exists. And also, it's a good indicator because you're about to enter a phase where other people are going to start to notice those changes. You know, and everyone's mileage may vary. No two people are going to be the same, especially when it comes to biology and how the hormones affect our biologies and whatnot. Um, there's no hard and fast rule, but in my observation, 7 months is a huge, huge turning point. And going forward, obviously, your 8th month, your 9th month. And another thing I told her is that, as part of the HRT process, we're in the process of being reborn. And, it takes 9 months for a little baby in a womb to be born and develop. We need to give ourselves just as much time to allow ourselves to transition and for those changes to take effect and to give it time. But I totally understand and get the idea of wanting it now. I said to her, we all have a Veruca Salt in us. We have a girl jumping up and down saying, but I want it now! I want it now! We all have that. But aside from Veruca, we have a little girl inside of us. We have a girl that's been suppressed all of our lives. And we're finally, when you get to that HRT point and you're taking the hormones, you're finally giving that little girl a chance. You're giving that little girl a chance to grow and develop. And that's very, very important. Very, 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 very important. To give that little girl an opportunity to grow and develop. And, be patient if you can. And as I looked at her now, and she's 40, like I said, in her late 40s, I bit my tongue because I wanted to say to her, be aware that you're 40 some odd years old, and in many respects your body is past the point of changing things. There is a limit to how much change you're going to get with HRT. If you're not happy with those changes that hormones bring on, you may need to bring in the second crew. You may have to do facial feminization. You may have to do, trach shaves. You may have to do breast augmentation. I had one friend who did they got their throat zapped to change their pitch, to reduce the timbre and the resonance. Boy, I'm resonating, aren't I? The resonance in their voice. And so, I just wanted to say to her, excuse me, be aware of where you're starting from and be realistic on your expectations. And there were a lot of people who chimed in, younger trans women, in their 20s, offering advice, which is good, I think, to have a younger perspective on things. But, I wonder, we'll close that off. New topic. I just wonder, society, I'm not going to say anything shocking to you when I say that society values young women. young, beautiful women, for that matter. Our society and societies value young, beautiful women. And so, while it's very, very true, and I can tell you as a 48-year-old morbidly obese trans woman, I definitely am at my happiest that I have ever been. Not to say I don't have things I am going to change or I want to change. I'm definitely the most alive that I've been in my entire life. And I don't know where I'm going with this. But society doesn't value older women. You know, they value younger women. And so, I looked at the young trans women that were posting, and you could subdivide that even further. And I don't know the technical terms for their body types. There's like endomorphic. Uh, are you thin and skinny? Are you moderately shaped? Are you obese? I mean, they're different body forms. Okay, generally, and there are certain body configurations that are going to help you better if you're transitioning. You know, if you're in your 20s or your early 30s and you're a skinny little girl, a skinny little boy, let me take that back, and you're transitioning and you're taking the hormones, as it shifts things around and adds body fat, your body shape is I mean, it's like a car going through a car wash. By the time you come out of that car wash, you're a sexy little number. You're a little red Corvette, And conversely, if you're young and in your 20s and 30s and you're fat and then you become a fat woman, society doesn't value that. And so again, I see in the support group the little 20 and 30-year-olds, more 20-year-old trans women who had the luck of transitioning in their early 20s. So the hormones did a wonderful job on their little bodies. And like I said, they're sexy little numbers. And they pass, I hate to use that word, but they can pass as women without a second glance. Society values that. Society will accept that. And they will have less problems than an overweight trans woman at their age or an older trans woman. Again, I think about the woman who was doubting herself today, and she was so focused on her appearance, and I just wanted to say to her, I was like, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can expect. And it would make me sound like a judgmental bitch, I know. But, again, I think, again, this channel, One Trans at Middle Age, be aware of where you're starting from and the limitations of that. And who knows, you might have a big war chest and you can do facial feminization surgery. You can have a trach shave. You can, I think I just said facial feminization surgery, but you can have all of the external plastic surgeries, and you can pay. You can get a voice coach. You can get a dietitian if you're overweight. I mean, there's all these things you can do if you got the money for it. But society only values attractive women, and as middle-aged human beings, there's certain limitations that we're gonna, we have to accept the fact that there are limitations. And For an older trans woman, again, if you're skinny and being poly, and as you go through the process, again, what body fat you have is going to be repositioned, and you're going to be much better. But if you're a stocky person, in my case, if you're obese, you're big boned, which sounds like bullshit, but it's true. Society's not going to value you. And in my own mind's eye, I have a friend that I love to death who's been a good friend to me. And their body type, is like an upside down triangle. Because as men, we have this upper body that gets developed. I mean, it's part of our genetic development. And no matter how much we exercise and we lose body mass and whatever, we're always going to have that top heavy. I mean, it's like I said, it's like a triangle upside down with your legs down here, and you have that upper body triangle, and it's just the way that it is. And in that instance, my body shape, being a fat obese, a fat old bitch, yes, being obese and whatnot is somewhat to an advantage, because while I have that upper triangle, I also have the lower triangle that gives me some sort of waist, only because I'm obese, I'm fat. I have not necessarily an hourglass shape, but my ass is fat. My legs are fat, so it gives the illusion, which is why I wear skirts all the time. I wear granny skirts. So visually, again, I have this huge upper body, which is fat, so you're like, okay, it's a fat woman. And then my lower portion is also fat, so you're like, well, it's just a fat chick. Now again, society doesn't value that, but compare that to someone who is stocky, and again, they have that triangle shape, and they wear a dress or something like a summer dress, and they look terrible. What is the worst thing to do? To tell someone the truth? To tell someone a lie? I'd lie personally. I mean, if they ask how do I look, I say, oh, you look good. I do it. I do it. I do exactly what I said in the first. Oh, you look beautiful. You look wonderful. I don't want to hurt their feelings. In the same way that, I don't want someone to tell me, oh, well, you're a fat fuck. But I am. But there are limitations to that. We're going to find out. I'm really going to try to start to exercise and do things that I need to do. My company is not going to let me stay obese. They're going to fat shame me into exercising. So, I have no choice if I want to keep my job, and I do. But like I said, we were talking at the initial, when we say to someone, you look beautiful. We want to put them at ease. We want to help them out. We definitely want the compliment. I want someone to, if someone says to me, well, you look beautiful. I had someone say, I think they were trying to get me to go out with them on a date, which, golly, that never happens. They said, well, you're beautiful. And I was just like, well, you need to get your eyes checked, because I just don't believe it. But that's my own self-doubt when I'm coming into it. But again, that's what we say. Well, you look so beautiful, And I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. So, I'm kind of over time. I need to stop. But that's it for this video. I don't necessarily know if I went anywhere, but I just wanted to express like I said, just an observation, and I wonder if we do we are we making a mistake? I don't think so. I think it's the lesser of two evils. I think we're complimenting someone. We're encouraging them when they need to be encouraged in their first 2 years, and so forth. But I don't know. What do women do? Do women compliment? I guess they do, right? Oh, you look so beautiful. That top makes you look wonderful. That's your color. You know. Like I said, I guess maybe because I feel like I'm a fat fuck, makes me uncomfortable. So maybe it is just a reflection of my own self doubt. I don't know, but that's where I'm at. I'm sticking to it. So might make one more video today. We'll see. Until next time, good luck in your pursuit of becoming your authentic self. Bye bye.